Don't worry, you'll get him. Satan always keeps his word.
Satan? Harvey Satan of Chaos?
Here are 25 facts about Get Smart you probably never knew. The show almost had a different name. Before they came up with Get Smart as the official name, the creators considered calling it other names. Some of them were funny. Some of the names include The Dumbest Spy, which would have been pretty accurate among other names. But they wanted a name that felt a bit more clever and ironic and would leave people wondering what the movie was about. So they landed on Get Smart, even though Max rarely lived up to the title. Maxwell Smart's voice was based on old Hollywood.
I hope you appreciate that.
We certainly do, Doctor. We certainly do.
Don Adams didn't just make up Max's famous voice. He based it on 1930s actor William Powell, who starred in classic detective films.
Well, no, not really, I guess.
Max had learned to speak like that, the actor's voice he tried to mimic. Confident, rapid-fire delivery was perfect, except Don thought it would be hilarious if a bumbling fool like Max spoke with the same confidence. Mel Brooks thought it would flop. Talk about a producer that initially did not believe in his work, and I'll show you Mel Brooks. Even though he helped create it, Mel Brooks didn't believe the show would last or people would even watch it. He thought audiences wouldn't get it because the humor was so silly and over the top. But to his surprise, people loved it, and it became one of the biggest comedy hits of the 60s. Don Adams won 3 Emmy Awards. Who would have thought that playing a clumsy spy would win you awards? It might sound easy, but Don Adams turned it into an art form. His perfect timing, his serious delivery in ridiculous situations, and his ability to make the smallest jokes land helped him win 3 Emmy Awards for Best Actor in a Comedy. Barbara Feldon was almost unknown before Agent 99. With her superb delivery, you probably must have thought Barbara was a well-sought-after actress before the movie Get Smart. Well, Barbara Feldon wasn't a big name before the series. Her biggest claim to fame was winning a game show and doing a famous TV commercial for hair products. But once she became Agent 99, her career took off and she became a TV icon. Chaos was inspired by real spy agencies. The bad guys on Get Smart, known as Chaos, weren't made up. They were based on real Cold War spy agencies, like the Soviet KGB. Of course, Get Smart made them a lot sillier, but the fear of secret enemy agents was very real at the time. Get Smart's gadgets predicted modern tech. Back then in the 60s, things like wristwatch communicators, hidden cameras, and other detective gadgets were science fiction. But today, we have smartwatches, Bluetooth earpieces, and spy cams the size of buttons, proving that the gadgets used in the series were ahead of their time. Don Adams was a real Marine. Not everything was acting for the movie Get Smart. Did you know that before comedy, Don Adams served in the Marines during World War II? That bit of real military experience gave him just the right touch of toughness, even if Max's missions were more of an accident than skill. Jaime the Robot was an unexpected fan favorite. One of the most beloved characters was Jaime the Robot, a machine who followed orders literally. If Max said, "Kill the lights," Jaime might pull out a gun and shoot the lamp. His deadpan delivery made him a surprise hit with fans. Big stars lined up to guest star. One sign that a show has made it big is when famous actors want to appear, even just for a small part, and Get Smart was no exception. Over the 5 seasons, a list of popular actors and comedians stopped by for guest appearances. Comedy legend like Don Rickles and Carol Burnett made appearances as undercover agents on the show and brought their A-game. These guest stars didn't just pop in for the fun. They wanted to be part of something that was redefining TV comedy at the time. The theme song became instantly iconic. Remember those times when a certain TV commercial just sticks? It's on everyone's lips? You know how spread this has gone? Before Max even said a word, the audience knew they were about to watch something special thanks to the show's unforgettable theme song. The song created the right kind of buzz it was supposed to create. That bold, brassy tune played as Maxwell Smart walked down the long corridor, passing through a series of increasingly absurd security doors, each one clanging shut behind him with a satisfying clang. It was a perfect combination of cool, yet still had vibes setting the stage for everything the series was about. Even today, you could play those opening notes and immediately transport people back to the 1960s spy comedy world. Agent 99's real name was a secret. For 5 seasons, Agent 99 was always just 99. Her actual name was never revealed. This added to her mystique, making her even cooler. Fans speculated about what her real name might be, but the writers deliberately left it blank, adding to the show's playful, self-aware style. Even in later versions, like the 2008 movie, her real name remained a secret, proving that some mysteries are just too good to solve. The writers became comedy royalty. The TV series Get Smart wasn't just a launching pad for Don Adams and Barbara Feldon. It also helped launch the careers of some of TV's funniest writers. At the time when most of these things were not popular, co-creator Mel Brooks went on to become a comedy legend, responsible for classics like Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein. But other writers from the show also made their mark and write beautiful comedy scripts. Some of them went on to write for Saturday Night Live, The Simpsons, and even Cheers, carrying Get Smart's unique brand of silly, smart humor into future generations of comedy. The Chief was based on real-life spy bosses. While Maxwell Smart was pure fantasy, the Chief, played by Edward Platt, had a bit more realism baked into his character. Platt took inspiration from actual intelligence directors and military officers, borrowing their no-nonsense attitude and unflappable demeanor. He had gone further to embody all of these characteristics to make the role look as real as possible. What made the Chief so funny, though, was how much he had to put up with. His patience was constantly tested by Max's blunders, but he somehow managed to stay professional, most of the time. It won 7 Emmy Awards. Another fact about the series was that it had won 7 awards. Would you believe that? Get Smart wasn't just a hit with audiences. It was a critical darling too. Over its 5-season run, the show won 7 Primetime Emmy Awards, including Outstanding Comedy Series and multiple wins for Don Adams as Best Lead Actor in a Comedy Series. This was rare at the time because silly comedies weren't always taken seriously by award shows. But Get Smart's clever writing, sharp performances, and innovative mix of satire and slapstick made it impossible to ignore. Get Smart was a global sensation. It wasn't just American audiences who fell in love with Max in '99. Get Smart quickly became a global hit, airing in the UK, Australia, Canada, and even parts of Europe. People from all races found it interesting and amusing and could relate to it. The humor crossed language barriers because everyone could laugh at a bumbling spy who thought he was the smartest person in the room. In some countries, it was even used as a way to poke fun at real-world spy agencies, making it more than just entertainment. It became a cultural touchstone for Cold War-era comedy. Max became Chief in a short-lived reboot. Long after Get Smart ended in 1970, the characters returned in a 1995 reboot. This time, Maxwell Smart had been promoted to Chief, and his bumbling son, Zach Smart, became the new Agent 86. The show only lasted 7 episodes, but it gave fans a glimpse of Max in a new role where he had to deal with a younger version of himself, proving that some things never change. Though the reboot didn't last, it showed how much love still existed for the original series and its characters, even decades later. Real spy fails inspired some of Max's goofs. While Get Smart was a comedy, some of its most outrageous plots were rooted in actual reality. During the Cold War, real-life spies from both sides made some embarrassingly dumb mistakes, like disguises falling off, coded messages sent to the wrong people, and gadgets that completely failed at the worst times. The writers of the movie took inspiration from these real-world flubs, exaggerating them into even bigger disasters. It was remembered that spies aren't always as slick as James Bond, even in real life. It paved the way for modern spy comedies. Without Get Smart, we probably wouldn't have had other comedy series like Austin Powers, Johnny English, or even The Naked Gun. The show proved that spies didn't have to be smooth and sophisticated all the time. They were also human, and they could be complete idiots and still save the day. The combination of spy action, gadget parodies, and slapstick humor became a blueprint for a whole new generation of comedy, one that continues to thrive today. Max proved that being clumsy doesn't mean you can't be a hero. At the heart of Get Smart was a surprisingly sweet message that taught us that you don't have to be perfect to be a hero. Max was clumsy, oblivious, and rarely understood what was happening, but he always believed in his mission and gave it everything he had. In the end, it wasn't a skill that saved the day, it was sheer luck, stubbornness, and the occasional assist from Agent 99. The message that even the most unlikely hero can still make a difference is part of what made the series so beloved for over 50 years now. Get Smart was created to make fun of spy movies. In the 1960s to 1970s, spy movies were a huge deal. That was the time of James Bond, and everyone wanted to make their next big secret agent story. But comedy legend Mel Brooks and writer Buck Henry had a different idea. They had thought to themselves, what if they made a spy show where the agent was terrible at his job? That was the whole point of the TV series. It took the cool world of spies and turned it into a playground for jokes and clumsy mishaps. Every mission was a disaster, but somehow, Max, one of the agents, always saved the day, usually by accident. Don Adams wasn't the first choice. Did you know that Don Adams wasn't the first choice for the lead role in the series? Even though it's impossible to imagine anyone other than Don Adams as Maxwell Smart, the role was almost given to Tom Poston, a popular actor at the time. What made Don perfect was his serious delivery. He played every ridiculous situation as if Max truly believed he was the smartest man in the room, which made his mistakes even funnier. Agent 99 was a revolutionary female character. It's safe to say this series brought about a change in casting ladies in movies. Back then in the 60s, most women on TV were either put up for roles like housewives, secretaries, or love interests. They were always cast for ladylike lesser roles, not something that requires too much action and strength. But Agent 99, played by Barbara Feldon, was different. She was smart and capable, and often saved Maxwell Smart from his own bad decisions. It was rare to see a woman spy portrayed as both professional and competent back then, making Agent 99 a trailblazer for female characters in comedy. They were able to set the pace for others to follow. The shoe phone became a comedy legend. Out of all the wacky gadgets in Get Smart, none is more famous than the shoe phone. The idea was so ridiculous it was perfect. Max would take off his shoe in the middle of a mission, hold it up to his ear, and calmly talk to it like it was normal. It was a funny twist to the supposed high-tech gadget spies were supposed to use, and it became a symbol of the show itself. Even today, if someone mentions the movie, the shoe phone is the first thing people think of. The cone of silence joke never gets old. One of the longest-running jokes from the series was the cone of silence, a clear plastic dome meant to keep a top-secret conversation private. But every time Max and Sheaf used it, they couldn't hear each other and ended up shouting, which defeated the purpose. The cone of silence became one of the show's funniest gags, and fans couldn't wait to see it fail over and over. Subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into your favorite films and to discover more about vintage America.